So you use that thing to breed? Prove it. The aliens' demand echoed through the USS Frontier's command center, leaving Captain Caleb Tucker momentarily stunned. The year was 2175, and humanity's first interstellar colony ship had just arrived at Novus Terram after a grueling 50-year journey. As the crew prepared for planetfall, an unexpected alien transmission from the surface threw their carefully laid plans into disarray. Caleb led a small team to investigate, setting foot on the lush alien world. They encountered the Akamarians, a technologically advanced species that regarded the human visitors with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. The alien leader, Prylar, greeted them warily, her iridescent skin shimmering in the planet's golden sunlight. What began as tense negotiations for settlement rights quickly devolved into a bizarre fixation on human reproductive biology. Prylar's piercing gaze locked onto Caleb as she issued her outrageous demand for a demonstration of human breeding capabilities. Caleb's mind raced. The fate of the colony now hinged on this unexpected turn of events. He glanced at his team, their expressions a mix of shock and disbelief. With a deep breath, he made a decision that would alter the course of human history. "We accept your challenge," Caleb declared, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The ship's AI chimed in through his earpiece, informing him of the Akamarians' advanced genetic engineering technology. Caleb saw an opportunity to secure not just land rights, but access to knowledge that could revolutionize human society. "If we prove our reproductive prowess," Caleb proposed, meeting Prylar's alien eyes, "will you share your genetic technology with us?" Prylar's antenna twitched with interest. "Agreed," she hissed. "But know this, human. My species struggles with infertility. We view successful breeders as superior beings. Fail this test, and you will be denied settlement rights and banished from Novus Terram forever." The stakes were set. Humanity's expansion into the stars now depended on their ability to demonstrate their reproductive capabilities to an alien species. Caleb's mind whirled with the implications. He needed to assemble a team of volunteers, knowing that their performance would determine the future of human civilization. As Caleb and his team returned to the frontier to begin preparations, tensions simmered between the human crew and the Akamarians. Cultural misunderstandings multiplied, and conflicting expectations threatened to derail the entire endeavor before it could even start. The captain stood on the bridge of the frontier, gazing down at the swirling blues and greens of Novus Terram. The weight of his species' future pressed down on his shoulders. He had 50,000 colonists in cryosleep, counting on him to secure their new home. Now it all came down to this unprecedented test of human biology. Caleb clenched his fists, determination etched on his face. Humanity had crossed the vast gulf of space, endured half a century of interstellar travel, only to face this most primal of challenges. They would not falter now. They would prove their worth to the Akamarians and claim their place among the stars. As he turned to address his crew, Caleb knew that the next few days would define humanity's place in the cosmos. The breeding experiment loomed before them, a test unlike any they had faced before. But they were humans, adaptable and resilient. They would rise to this challenge, no matter how strange or daunting it might be. The future of their species depended on it. Caleb strode purposefully through the corridors of the USS Frontier, his mind racing with the implications of the Akamarians' challenge. He tapped his comm badge, his voice steady despite the tumult of emotions beneath the surface. "Senior staff, report to the conference room immediately." Within minutes, the ship's key personnel assembled around the sleek oval table. Caleb stood at the head, his posture rigid as he surveyed the faces of his crew. "I'm sure you've all heard the rumors," he began, "but I need to confirm them. The Akamarians have demanded a demonstration of human reproductive capabilities as a condition for our settlement on Novus Terram." A ripple of murmurs swept through the room. Commander Sarah Martinez, the ship's first officer, leaned forward. "Captain, you can't be serious. This is unprecedented." "I'm afraid it's all too real, Commander," Caleb replied. He gestured to the woman seated to his right. "I've asked Dr. Elena Rodriguez, our chief geneticist, to join us. She'll be overseeing the experiment." Dr. Rodriguez stood, her dark eyes scanning the room. "I know this is an unusual situation, but we need to approach it scientifically if we're to succeed. She activated a holographic display in the center of the table, showing a complex web of genetic markers. I propose we select volunteers based on genetic compatibility, fertility rates, and overall health. This will give us the best chance of a successful demonstration. Lieutenant James Chen, the ship's xenobiologist, raised his hand. Dr. Captain, I have concerns about potential biological incompatibilities between our people and the planet's environment. We need to run a series of tests on local flora and fauna samples before we expose any volunteers to potential risks. Caleb nodded. Agreed, Lieutenant. Work with Dr. Rodriguez to ensure the safety of our people. We can't afford any unexpected complications. As the meeting progressed, the ship's AI, Aria, chimed in. Captain, I have begun analyzing crew members' medical data to identify potential candidates for the demonstration. Shall I compile a list of the most suitable volunteers? Yes, Aria, Caleb replied, but make sure to flag any potential health risks or complications. The room fell silent as the weight of the situation settled over them. Chief Engineer Alexei Volkov broke the silence, his thick accent cutting through the tension. Captain, have you considered the ethical implications of this request? We're not lab rats for alien observation. Caleb's expression resolute. I understand your concerns, Alexei, but we need to consider the bigger picture. The future of our colony, of humanity's expansion into the stars, depends on our success here. Dr. Rodriguez interjected, We'll ensure all volunteers are fully informed and consent to participate. This isn't just about biology, it's about diplomacy in the future of our species. As the meeting adjourned, Caleb made a decision that sent shockwaves through the crew. I'm volunteering myself as one of the participants, he announced. Commander Martinez's eyes widened. Captain, with all due respect, that's not advisable. We can't risk losing our leader if something goes wrong. Dr. Rodriguez nodded in agreement. Commander Martinez is right, Captain. The stress of leadership combined with the pressure of the demonstration could negatively impact your performance. Caleb held up a hand to silence their objections. I appreciate your concerns, but my decision is final. I won't ask my crew to do something I'm not willing to do myself. We're in this together. As word spread throughout the ship, crew members gathered in small groups, their conversations a mix of disbelief, curiosity, and apprehension. In the mess hall, Ensign Taylor voiced what many were thinking. I can't believe we crossed 50 light years just to become part of some alien peep show. His companion, Lieutenant Park, shushed him. Keep it down. Like it or not, this is our reality now. We need to make the best of it. Meanwhile, on the planet's surface, the Acamarians worked tirelessly to construct a facility for the human breeding demonstration. Pryler oversaw the project personally, her iridescent skin shimmering as she directed her workers. The structure was a curious blend of alien and human design elements, with smooth, organic curves juxtaposed against familiar right angles and straight lines. Caleb and a small team visited the site to inspect the progress. As they approached, Pryler's antenna twitched with excitement. Captain Tucker, she greeted, her voice a melodic trill, we have spared no effort in creating a suitable environment for your species' procreation ritual. Caleb nodded, trying to maintain his composure as he surveyed the alien love nest. Thank you, Pryler. Your attention to detail is appreciated. As they toured the facility, tensions simmered beneath the surface of polite interactions. Cultural misunderstandings led to several heated exchanges between human crew members and Acamarian workers. At one point, an Acamarian engineer made a comment about human physiology that sent Lieutenant Chen into a fit of indignation. Caleb intervened, stepping between Chen and the alien. Lieutenant, stand down, he ordered, before turning to the Acamarian. I apologize for the misunderstanding. Perhaps we could arrange a cultural exchange to prevent future incidents? Back on the frontier, Dr. Rodriguez worked tirelessly in her lab, poring over Acamarian biological data. As she cross-referenced it with samples from Novus Terram, her eyes widened. Aria, she called out, run a spectral analysis on this mineral sample from the planet's crust. The AI complied, and moments later, Dr. Rodriguez's suspicions were confirmed. She had discovered the root cause of the Acamarians' reproductive problems. A rare element in the planet's composition had caused a genetic mutation in their species over time. As she prepared to share her findings with Captain Tucker, Arya's voice filled the lab. "Doctor, I've detected an anomaly in the planet's atmosphere that could potentially affect human fertility. Lieutenant Chen is analyzing the data now." Dr. Rodriguez's heart raced as she rushed to join Chen in the science lab. The future of the mission, and possibly humanity's expansion into space, now hung by a thread. As they huddled over holographic displays of atmospheric data, the clock ticked relentlessly toward the moment of truth. In his quarters, Caleb stood before a mirror, adjusting his uniform. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him like a physical force. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the challenges ahead. The fate of the colony, the 50,000 souls in cryosleep, and humanity's place among the stars all rested on the outcome of this unprecedented interspecies experiment. As he prepared to leave for final briefing with the volunteers, his comm badge chirped. "Captain," Dr. Rodriguez's voice came through, tinged with urgency. "We've made some critical discoveries. We need to talk immediately." Caleb's pulse quickened as he responded, "On my way, Doctor." He strode out of his quarters, ready to face whatever new complications awaited him. The breeding demonstration loomed on the horizon, a test unlike any humanity had faced before. But as he navigated the frontier's corridors, Caleb reminded himself that adaptation had always been humanity's greatest strength. They would find a way through this challenge, no matter how strange or daunting it might be. Caleb strode into the science lab, his brow furrowed with concern. Dr. Rodriguez and Lieutenant Chen huddled over a holographic display, their faces illuminated by the eerie blue glow of the projector. "What's the situation, Doctor?" Caleb asked, his voice taut with tension. Dr. Rodriguez looked up, her dark eyes filled with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Captain, we've made two critical discoveries. First, we've identified the root cause of the Acamarians' fertility issues. There's a rare element in the planet's crust that's caused a genetic mutation in their species over time." Chen chimed in. "And that's not all, sir. We've detected an anomaly in the planet's atmosphere that could potentially affect human fertility." Caleb's mind raced with the implications. Could this atmospheric anomaly impact our demonstration? Before either scientist could respond, Arya's voice filled the lab. "Captain, I'm detecting an unusual energy signature emanating from the Acamarian facility." The three humans exchanged worried glances. "Lieutenant Chen, I need you to investigate that energy signature immediately," Caleb ordered. Chen nodded and hurried out of the lab. Caleb turned back to Dr. Rodriguez. "Doctor, I want a full report on these discoveries. We need to understand all potential risks before proceeding." As Chen made his way to the Acamarian facility, the alien structure loomed before him, its organic curves gleaming in the planet's harsh sunlight. He activated his tricorder, scanning for the source of the energy signature. Inside the facility, Chen's eyes widened as he took in the array of unfamiliar equipment. His tricorder beeped insistently, leading him to a hidden chamber. What he found there sent a chill down his spine. "Captain Tucker," Chen's voice crackled over the comm, "I've identified the source of the energy signature. The Acamarians have installed advanced monitoring equipment. It's capable of collecting detailed genetic information from the human participants." Caleb's fist tight. "Understood, Lieutenant. Return to the ship immediately." Anger simmered beneath Caleb's calm exterior as he marched toward the Acamarian liaison office. Pryler stood near a window, her iridescent skin shimmering as she gazed out at the alien landscape. "Pryler," Caleb's voice was steel, "we need to talk about the monitoring equipment in your facility." The Acamarian turned, her antenna twitching nervously. "Captain Tucker, No excuses," Caleb cut her off. "Why didn't you inform us about this technology? What are your true intentions?" Pryler's posture sagged. "We hope to use the genetic data to potentially create human Acamarian hybrids. It could be the solution to our infertility problems." Caleb's mind reeled at the implications. "That's a gross violation of our agreement and our trust. This changes everything." Back on the frontier, the senior staff gathered in the conference room. The atmosphere was tense as Caleb relayed Pryler's admission. Commander Martinez slammed her fist on the table. "This is outrageous. We should call off the whole thing and leave this planet immediately. Not so fast, Dr. Rodriguez interjected. This could be an opportunity. Their genetic engineering technology could revolutionize human medicine. Caleb nodded, considering. You're right, Doctor, but we can't simply hand over our genetic data without guarantees. After hours of heated debate, Dr. Rodriguez proposed a compromise. We allow them to collect limited genetic data in exchange for full disclosure of their genetic engineering technology. We set strict protocols to protect our people's privacy and rights. Caleb turned to Arya. Run a simulation. What are the potential outcomes of this compromise? The AI's voice filled the room. Based on available data, this compromise has a 78% chance of resulting in a mutually beneficial outcome for both species. With the course of action decided, Caleb returned to the planet's surface to negotiate with Prylar. The Acamarian leader listened intently as Caleb outlined the new terms. Your proposal is acceptable, Prylar said after a long pause. We agree to your conditions. As preparations for the demonstration continued, an unexpected volunteer stepped forward. Sarah Mitchell, a young botanist with fiery red hair and a determined gleam in her eye, approached Caleb on the ship's arboretum. Captain, she said, her voice steady, I'd like to volunteer for the demonstration. Caleb raised an eyebrow. I thought you were against the idea, Ensign Mitchell. Sarah nodded. I was, but after learning about the potential benefits of Acamarian genetic technology for curing human diseases, I can't stand by and do nothing. Her decision sparked a wave of new volunteers, and soon the final group was assembled. Caleb felt a mix of pride and apprehension as he looked at the faces of those willing to put their bodies on the line for the future of humanity. The day of the demonstration arrived. The human participants, including Caleb and Sarah, were escorted to private chambers within the Acamarian facility. The air thrummed with nervous energy. In a nearby control room, Dr. Rodriguez monitored vital signs and genetic markers. Prylar and her team of scientists observed from an adjacent chamber, their eyes wide with anticipation. As the demonstration progressed, Lieutenant Chen burst into the control room, his face flushed with excitement. Dr. Captain, I've made a discovery. The planet's atmosphere contains trace amounts of a pheromone-like compound. It appears to enhance human fertility. Dr. Rodriguez's fingers flew over her console, confirming Chen's findings. This could significantly increase our chances of success, she murmured. Hours passed. The participants emerged from their chambers, faces flushed and eyes bright. Dr. Rodriguez pored over the data, her excitement growing with each passing minute. Initial results show promising signs of fertilization in several couples, she announced, her voice trembling with excitement. Including you, Captain. A cheer went up from the human observers. Prylar's antenna quivered with what seemed to be joy. But before the celebration could truly begin, the Acamarian scientist stepped forward. These results are most encouraging, Prylar said. We propose extending the experiment to study the entire human gestational period. Silence fell over the room. Caleb's mind raced, weighing the potential benefits against the risks and delays such an extension would cause. Before he could respond, a commotion erupted near one of the examination tables. Sarah Mitchell swayed on her feet, her face pale and drawn. Doctor! Caleb called out, rushing to support the young botanist. Dr. Rodriguez hurried over, her medical tricorder whirring. Her vital signs are fluctuating dramatically, she reported, her voice tense. It seems her body is reacting unusually to the atmospheric compounds. As they rushed Sarah to the medical bay, Caleb's comm badge chirped. Captain? It was Chief Engineer Reeves, his voice tight with stress. We're picking up some unusual readings from the planet's core. You might want to get back up here. Caleb looked from Sarah's pale face to Prylar's expectant gaze, then to the worried expressions of his crew. The breeding demonstration had been a success, but at what cost? And what new challenges did Novus Terram have in store for them? With a deep breath, Caleb squared his shoulders. The real test of their ability to adapt to life on this alien world was only just beginning. The unexpected complications with Sarah Mitchell and the ominous readings from the planet's core demanded immediate attention. Dr. Rodriguez, stabilize Ensign Mitchell and meet me in the conference room in 15 minutes, Caleb ordered, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his mind. Lieutenant Chen, I want a full report on those core readings. As Caleb made his way back to the frontier, his mind raced with the implications of their recent discoveries. The success of the breeding demonstration was overshadowed by the potential risks they now faced. In the conference room, Caleb's senior staff gathered around the table, faces etched with concern. Dr. Rodriguez entered last, her usual composed demeanor slightly frayed. Report, Doctor, Caleb said, leaning forward. Elena took a deep breath. Sarah Mitchell's condition has stabilized, but her case has revealed something crucial. The atmospheric compounds on Novus Terram are causing unexpected hormonal changes in humans. In Sarah's case, these changes led to a severe imbalance. Lieutenant Chen's fingers danced across his datapad. Captain, my analysis shows that these compounds could pose long-term risks for human habitation. We're looking at potential fertility issues, hormonal disruptions, and possible genetic mutations over time. The room fell silent as the weight of Chen's words sank in. Commander Martinez was the first to speak. Are you saying Novus Terram might not be suitable for colonization after all? Before Chen could respond, the door slid open and Pryler entered, her antenna twitching with agitation. Captain Tucker, we must discuss the continuation of the experiment. Our initial results are promising, but we need more data. We propose extending the study to cover the entire human gestational period. Caleb's eyes hardened. Pryler, we've just uncovered potential health risks for our people. We can't simply... We can offer advanced medical technology to monitor and protect the human participants, Pryler interjected, her eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity. This is a unique opportunity for both our species. The room erupted into heated debate. Dr. Rodriguez argued for the potential medical advancements, while Commander Martinez vehemently opposed risking more lives. Lieutenant Chen presented data on both the risks and potential benefits, his voice steady amidst the chaos. Caleb raised a hand, silencing the room. We need a compromise. Dr. Rodriguez, select a small group of volunteers to continue the extended study. The rest of the crew will begin the colonization process as planned. We'll reassess as we go. Pryler's antenna relaxed slightly. This is acceptable. We look forward to continuing our collaboration. As the Acamarian left, Chief Engineer Marcus Reeves cleared his throat. Captain, I've identified a suitable location for our first settlement. However, during our surveys, we found something interesting. Caleb raised an eyebrow. Go on. An abandoned Acamarian outpost, Reeves said, projecting images onto the room's main screen. It contains advanced technology and some pretty intriguing genetic research data, things that Pryler and her team haven't mentioned. The implications hung heavy in the air. What weren't the Acamarians telling them about their history on Novus Terram? Over the next few weeks, the human presence on Novus Terram expanded. While Reeves and his team began establishing the colony, Dr. Rodriguez worked tirelessly in the Acamarian facility, splitting her time between the extended breeding study and treating Sarah Mitchell. One morning, Elena burst into Caleb's makeshift office, her eyes bright with excitement. Captain, we've had a breakthrough with Sarah's treatment. By combining our medical knowledge with Acamarian technology, we've not only stabilized her condition, but enhanced her fertility. This could be the key to solving the Acamarians' infertility crisis. Caleb leaned back in his chair, considering the implications. This changes things, Doctor. We need to approach Pryler about a joint research initiative, our expertise in adapting to new environments in exchange for their genetic technology. As Caleb initiated negotiations with Pryler, Lieutenant Chen made another startling discovery. He burst into the captain's office, interrupting a vid call with Commander Martinez. Sir, the pheromone-like compound in the atmosphere, it's not natural. It's the result of ancient Acamarian terraforming, Chen reported, his words tumbling out in a rush. This planet may have once supported a much larger Acamarian population. Caleb's mind reeled with the possibilities. Thank you, Lieutenant. This information could be crucial in our negotiations. The breeding experiment continued with a smaller group of volunteers, including Caleb himself and the recovering Sarah Mitchell. Weeks passed and multiple pregnancies were confirmed. proving humanity's ability to reproduce on Novus Terram. However, initial scans of the developing fetuses revealed subtle genetic variations. Dr. Rodriguez pored over the data, her excitement growing. "Captain, these adaptations, they might be the key to everything. I believe we can use genetic material from these embryos to create a treatment for the Acamarians." As news of this potential breakthrough spread, tensions rose within both the human colony and Acamarian society. Caleb found himself at the center of a growing ideological storm, with some viewing the genetic mixing as a threat to their species' identity, while others saw it as a path to mutual prosperity. Meanwhile, Reeves and his team continued to investigate the abandoned Acamarian outpost. Late one night, he contacted Caleb with urgent news. "Captain, we've found evidence of a catastrophic event in the planet's past, something that might explain the Acamarians' fertility crisis," Reeves reported, his voice hushed. "This could be a game-changer in our negotiations." As Caleb grappled with the political and ethical implications of these discoveries, the fledgling human colony faced unexpected challenges. Novus Terram's flora and fauna proved more resilient and aggressive than initially thought, forcing the settlers to develop new survival strategies. The situation reached a critical point when one of the pregnant human volunteers experienced severe complications. Acamarian medical technology struggled to address the issue, leaving Caleb with an impossible choice: risk the volunteer's life to maintain their fragile alliance, or prioritize human safety at the cost of diplomatic progress. As Caleb stood in the medical bay, watching Dr. Rodriguez and her Acamarian counterparts working frantically to stabilize the volunteer, he knew his decision would shape the future of both species on Novus Terram. The weight of 50,000 lives in cryosleep, the future of human expansion, and the survival of the Acamarian species all rested on his shoulders. Caleb took a deep breath, steeling himself for the challenges ahead. Whatever his decision, one thing was clear: life on Novus Terram would never be the same for humans or Acamarians. The true test of their ability to coexist and thrive on this alien world was just beginning. The unexpected complications with Sarah Mitchell and the ominous readings from the planet's core demanded immediate attention. Caleb's comm badge chirped urgently. "Captain, we need you in the medical bay immediately." Dr. Rodriguez's voice crackled through, tension evident in her tone. Rushing to the medical facility, Caleb found a scene of controlled chaos. Medical staff bustled around a prone figure on the central biobed, one of the human volunteers, her abdomen swollen with pregnancy. "What's the situation, doctor?" Caleb asked, his eyes fixed on the pale face of the volunteer. Elena's brow furrowed as she studied the readings on her medical tricorder. "Severe placental abruption, Captain. The Acamarian technology is struggling to stabilize her condition. We need to make a decision, and fast." Caleb's mind raced, weighing the potential diplomatic fallout against the life of his crew member. The choice, when it came down to it, was clear. "Prepare for immediate evacuation to the frontier," he ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Pryler, who had been observing from the corner of the room, stepped forward, her antenna twitching agitatedly. "Captain Tucker, I must protest. Our agreement—" "We'll have to wait," Caleb cut her off, his tone brooking no argument. "The safety of my people comes first." As the medical team prepared for transport, Caleb's comm badge chirped again. "Tucker here." "Captain, this is Commander Alexei Volkov," a gruff voice responded. "I've been monitoring the situation. Permission to implement Security Protocol Delta 7? "Granted, Commander. Meet me in the shuttle bay in 10 minutes. Within the hour, the pregnant volunteer was safely aboard the frontier, leaving behind a wake of diplomatic tension. Caleb stood in the ship's conference room, facing the stern visage of Commander Volkov on the main view screen. "The Acamarians are not pleased, Captain," Volkov reported, his craggy features set in a frown. "They're viewing this as a breach of our agreement. I've implemented additional security measures for our colonists on the surface." Caleb nodded, feeling the weight of command settle heavily on his shoulders. "Understood, Commander. Keep me updated on any developments." As the days passed, the situation on Novus Terram grew increasingly complex. Dr. Rodriguez worked tirelessly in the frontier's medical bay, combining human expertise with adapted Acamarian technology to stabilize the pregnant volunteer. "Captain, I've managed to stabilize her condition," Elena reported, dark circles under her eyes betraying her exhaustion. "But the fetus, it's showing signs of further genetic mutations. I'm concerned about the long-term viability of human Acamarian hybrids." Before Caleb could respond, his comm badge chirped. "Tucker here." "Captain, it's Reeves. You need to see this." The chief engineer's voice thrummed with excitement. In the makeshift lab set up in the abandoned Acamarian outpost, Marcus Reeves stood over a holographic display, his eyes alight with discovery. "We've found evidence of a devastating plague that swept through the Acamarian population centuries ago," he explained, manipulating the hologram to show ancient medical records. "It caused widespread infertility, forcing them to abandon much of their technology. This explains their desperation to solve their reproductive crisis." Caleb absorbed the information, his mind already racing with the implications. "Good work, Marcus. This could be crucial in our negotiations." As if on cue, Lieutenant Chen burst into the lab, his datapad clutched tightly in his hand. "Captain, I've identified a rare mineral in the planet's crust. It appears to be the source of the fertility-enhancing compounds in the atmosphere." Caleb raised an eyebrow. "Potential for trade?" Chen nodded. "Definitely. But there are also potential health risks we need to consider." As the team discussed the implications of their discoveries, Sarah Mitchell entered the lab, her face pale but determined. "Captain, I'd like to volunteer to lead a research team to study this new mineral. My expertise in botany could be valuable in understanding how it interacts with the planet's flora." Caleb considered her request, noting the fire in her eyes. "Approved, Ensign, but I want you to work closely with Dr. Rodriguez to monitor any potential health effects." With these new developments, Caleb knew he needed to take bold action. He initiated a plan to establish a joint human Acamarian scientific outpost, hoping to foster cooperation and rebuild trust between the two species. However, not everyone shared his optimism. Commander Volkov, ever the pragmatist, began covertly training a militia from among the colonists. "We must be prepared to defend ourselves, Captain," Volkov argued during a private meeting in Caleb's ready room. "The Acamarians may be desperate enough to take drastic action." Caleb frowned, uncomfortable with the idea but unable to dismiss it entirely. "Proceed with caution, Commander. I don't want to provoke any unnecessary conflict." As tensions simmered, Pryler approached Caleb with an unexpected proposal. In the newly established joint outpost, the Acamarian leader's antenna quivered with nervous energy. "We offer to share the full extent of our genetic engineering technology," Pryler stated, her eyes fixed on Caleb. "In exchange, we ask for your assistance in relocating a portion of our people to a nearby moon. Our preliminary scans suggest it might be more suitable for our physiology." Caleb's mind reeled at the implications. "I'll need to consult with my team, Pryler. This is a significant proposal with far-reaching consequences." As Caleb assembled a diverse team of experts to evaluate the offer, nature intervened in spectacular fashion. A massive solar flare from Novus Terram's star bathed the planet in intense radiation, accelerating the growth of the human Acamarian hybrid embryos still being monitored in the research facility. Alarms blared as Dr. Rodriguez and her team rushed to contain the situation. "We need to stabilize the stasis fields," Elena shouted over the cacophony. "If these embryos develop too rapidly, we could be looking at severe genetic instabilities." The solar flare also wreaked havoc on the USS Frontier and the fledgling human colony, damaging key systems and forcing humans and Acamarians to work side by side to effect repairs. In the midst of the crisis, Caleb found himself working alongside Pryler to reroute power to the colony's shields. As they worked, a grudging respect began to form between them. "Perhaps," Pryler said, her antenna drooping with fatigue, "this shared adversity can lead us to a more cooperative future." Caleb nodded, allowing himself a small smile. "I hope so, Pryler, for both our sakes." As the immediate crisis passed, Caleb stood in the observation lounge of the Frontier, gazing down at the swirling atmosphere of Novus Terram. The weight of command had never felt heavier. The decisions he would make in the coming days would shape not only the fate of the colony, but also the course of human-Acamarian relations for generations to come. With a deep breath, he turned to face the assembled team of experts, Dr. Rodriguez, Lieutenant Chen, Sarah Mitchell, and Commander Volkov. Each of their faces reflected the gravity of the situation. "All right," Caleb said, his voice steady. "Let's review our options. We have a lot of work ahead of us." "Us," Caleb paused, his gaze sweeping across the assembled team. "The solar flare crisis has shown us both the challenges and opportunities we face on Novus Terram. It's time we leverage this shared experience to strengthen our alliance with the Acamarians." Dr. Rodriguez leaned forward, her eyes bright with interest. "What do you have in mind, Captain?" "A joint human-Acamarian task force," Caleb replied, his voice firm. "We'll work together to repair the damage from the solar event and develop preventive measures for future occurrences. It's a chance to showcase the benefits of our cooperation." Commander Volkov frowned, his arms crossed. "And the Acamarians? Do you think they'll agree to this?" Caleb nodded. "I believe so. Pryler has shown a willingness to collaborate, especially in the face of mutual challenges. I'll propose the idea to her immediately." As Caleb had predicted, Pryler agreed to the joint task force, recognizing the potential for mutual growth and understanding. Within days, humans and Acamarians were working side by side, repairing damaged infrastructure and sharing technological insights. In the midst of this flurry of activity, Dr. Rodriguez made a breakthrough that would change everything. She burst into Caleb's makeshift office, her lab coat askew and her hair disheveled. "Captain, you need to see this," she said, thrusting a data pad into his hands. Caleb's eyes widened as he scrolled through the information. "The hybrid embryos, they've stabilized?" Elena nodded, her excitement palpable. "Not only that, but they're showing remarkable adaptations. Enhanced resistance to the atmospheric conditions, improved cellular regeneration. These hybrids could be the key to long-term survival on Novus Terram for both species." As word of this discovery spread, it reignited discussions about solving the Acamarian fertility crisis. The possibility of a shared future on Novus Terram began to take shape in the minds of both humans and Acamarians. Meanwhile, Sarah Mitchell and her research team had been hard at work studying the fertility-enhancing mineral found in the planet's crust. In a small, makeshift lab on the outskirts of the colony, Sarah peered into a microscope, her brow furrowed in concentration. "James, come look at this," she called to her assistant. Lieutenant Chen hurried over, his curiosity piqued. Sarah stepped aside, allowing him to view the sample. "Is that what I think it is?" James asked, his voice hushed with awe. Sarah nodded, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. "We've done it. We've found a way to refine the mineral into a compound that mitigates its negative effects on human physiology while retaining its beneficial properties." The implications were staggering. With this breakthrough, long-term human habitation on Novus Terram became a real possibility. As these scientific advancements unfolded, Commander Volkov remained vigilant. In a cleared area just beyond the colony's borders, he oversaw the training of a small militia. "Again!" he barked, watching as a group of colonists ran through a series of defensive maneuvers. "Remember, we're integrating Acamarian tech with our own tactics. Stay focused." Volkov's actions didn't go unnoticed. Murmurs of concern rippled through the colony, with some worried about escalating tensions with their Acamarian hosts. In the colony's engineering hub, Chief Engineer Marcus Reeves worked alongside a team of Acamarian scientists. The air hummed with the sound of machinery and excited chatter as they collaborated on a new shield technology. "If we can successfully integrate your phase variance technology with our power distribution systems," Marcus explained, gesturing to a complex diagram, "we should be able to create a shield capable of withstanding even the most intense solar flares." The Acamarian scientist beside him nodded, her antenna twitching with excitement. "Yes, and the applications go beyond just protection from solar events. This could revolutionize our approach to planetary defense." Their project became a shining example of human Acamarian cooperation, showcasing the potential benefits of combining their technological expertise. Encouraged by these developments, Captain Tucker decided to revisit Pryler's proposal about relocating some Acamarians to the nearby moon. He assembled a survey team led by Lieutenant Chen to assess the moon's suitability for Acamarian habitation. As Chen's shuttle approached the moon's surface, he couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. The barren, cratered landscape stretched out before them, bathed in the soft glow of Novus Terram. Initiating atmospheric analysis, one of the team members announced. Chen watched as data streamed across his console. Interesting, he murmured. The composition is surprisingly similar to the Acamarian homeworld. With some terraforming, this could be a viable option for them. As the team continued their survey, a new player entered the scene back on Novus Terram. Dr. Zara, a prominent Acamarian geneticist known for her opposition to human cooperation, approached Dr. Rodriguez in the research facility. Dr. Rodriguez, Zara said, her voice cool but not unfriendly. I've been following your work with the hybrid embryos. I must admit, I'm intrigued by the results. Elena raised an eyebrow, surprised by the Acamarian scientist's presence. Oh, I was under the impression you were against such research. Zara's antenna twitched, a sign of discomfort. I was, but science is about adapting to new information, is it not? I have a proposal for you, a joint research project to explore the full potential of human Acamarian genetic compatibility. Before Elena could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Captain Tucker's voice came over the comm system, tension evident in his tone. All senior staff, report to the command center immediately. We've received a transmission from Earth. In the crowded command center, the atmosphere was tense as Captain Tucker played the message. The stern face of a United Earth government official filled the main screen. Captain Tucker, this is Admiral Zhao. We have grave concerns about the genetic experimentation and hybrid creation occurring on Novus Terram. You are hereby ordered to halt all such activities immediately. The ethical and political ramifications are too severe to ignore. Await further instructions. Zhao out. As the transmission ended, the room erupted into chaos. Voices rose in argument, with factions quickly forming. Commander Volkov stood, his face set in iron will. Captain, we must comply with Earth's orders, he insisted. We can't risk our standing with the home government. Dr. Rodriguez shot to her feet, her eyes flashing. And throw away all the progress we've made? The potential benefits for both our species? We can't just abandon our work. As the arguments raged on, Captain Tucker stood silent, the weight of the decision heavy on his shoulders. The future of the colony, the alliance with the Acamarians, and perhaps the fate of both species hung in the balance. He knew that his next move would shape the course of events on Novus Terram for years to come. In the midst of this turmoil, a message came through from the medical bay. Dr. Rodriguez's eyes widened as she read it, her face a mix of shock and wonder. Captain, she said, her voice cutting through the noise, the first human Acamarian hybrid child. It's being born. Born. The room fell silent, the weight of her words settling over everyone present. Captain Tucker's eyes widened, his mind racing with the implications. Where? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Medical Bay 3, Dr. Rodriguez replied, already moving towards the door. We need to go, now. As they hurried through the corridors of the colony, the alarms continued to blare, a stark reminder of the crisis they faced. But for now, all thoughts of Earth's orders were pushed aside by the monumental event unfolding before them. They entered the medical bay to find a team of human and Acamarian doctors huddled around an incubator. In the center lay a tiny figure, its skin a mottled mix of human pink and Acamarian blue. Two small antennae protruded from its forehead, twitching slightly as the child took its first breaths. Dr. Rodriguez pushed her way to the front, her trained eyes quickly assessing the newborn. Vital signs are stable, she announced, relief evident in her voice. Oxygen saturation is surprisingly good, considering the atmospheric conditions. Captain Tucker stood back, watching as the medical team worked. He could see the wonder in their eyes, human and Acamarian alike. This child, this impossible blend of two species, represented something entirely new in the universe. We need to establish a specialized medical unit, Tucker said, his decision made in an instant. Dr. Rodriguez, I want you to lead it. This child's development could be key to our future here on Novus Terram. Elena nodded, her focus never leaving the infant. I'll need a team, the best from both our species. You'll have it, Tucker assured her. Whatever resources you need. As word of the birth spread through the colony, reactions were mixed. Many saw it as a miracle, a symbol of hope for human Acamarian cooperation. Others, however, viewed it with fear and suspicion. Commander Volkov was among the latter. In the days that followed, he intensified the training of his militia, pushing them harder than ever before. On a cleared field at the edge of the colony, he watched as his recruits ran through combat drills. Faster, he barked, his face set in a grim mask. The threat could come from any direction. We must be prepared. One of the recruits, a young woman named Maya, paused to catch her breath. Sir, she panted, what exactly are we preparing for? Volkov's eyes narrowed. For the day when we need to defend our humanity, he said, his voice low and intense. That hybrid, it's just the beginning. We can't let ourselves be replaced. His words struck a chord with many of the colonists. As days passed, more and more people began to attend his training sessions, drawn by his promises of security and preservation of human identity. Meanwhile, in the newly established medical unit, Dr. Rodriguez worked tirelessly to understand the unique physiology of the hybrid child, whom they had named Alex. She stood before a holographic display of Alex's DNA, marveling at the intricate dance of human and Acamarian genes. It's remarkable, she murmured to her team. The way the two genomes have integrated, it's like nothing we've ever seen before. One of her Acamarian colleagues, Dr. Zinn, leaned in closer. Look here, he said, pointing to a specific sequence. This could be the key to solving our fertility issues. As they delved deeper into their research, tensions continued to mount outside the lab. Pryler, the Acamarian leader, requested a meeting with Captain Tucker. They stood in the observation lounge, looking out over the swirling atmosphere of Novus Terram. We believe the child should be transferred to our facilities, Pryler said, her antenna twitching with terrifying excitement. Our scientists are eager to study its development more closely. Tucker shook his head firmly. I'm sorry, Pryler, but that's not possible. Alex needs to remain under human care, at least for now. We don't yet fully understand the child's needs. Pryler's eyes narrowed. This reluctance to share goes against the spirit of our alliance, Captain. The child is as much Acamarian as it is human. Their disagreement marked a turning point in human Acamarian relations, a crack in the foundation of trust they had worked so hard to build. As these events unfolded, Sarah Mitchell and her team worked feverishly in their lab, driven by the urgent need to find an alternative solution to the Acamarian fertility crisis. Surrounded by vials of refined mineral compounds, Sarah peered into a microscope, her brow furrowed in concentration. James, she called out suddenly, her voice filled with excitement. I think we've done it. Lieutenant Chen rushed over, his eyes widening as he looked at the sample. Is that? Sarah nodded, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. A stable compound, safe for both humans and Acamarians. This could be the answer we've been looking for. Their breakthrough offered a glimmer of hope, a potential solution that didn't rely on genetic hybridization. But would it be enough to bridge the growing divide between the two species? In the engineering hub, Chief Engineer Marcus Reeves stood before a massive control panel, his fingers flying over the controls as he made final adjustments to the new shield technology. A team of human and Acamarian engineers watched with suspenseful pause. Initiating final test sequence, Marcus announced, his voice tense with anticipation. He pressed a series of buttons, and the air around them began to hum with energy. Outside, a shimmering dome of energy enveloped the colony. As it stabilized, something unexpected happened. The harsh red glow of Novus Terram's atmosphere seemed to soften, taking on a more Earth-like hue within the shield's boundaries. Marcus stared at his readings in disbelief. This is impossible, he muttered. The shield isn't just protecting us from solar flares. It's neutralizing the atmospheric effects on human physiology. The implications were staggering. With this technology, they could potentially expand the human settlement far beyond its current boundaries. As these scientific advancements unfolded, a new threat loomed on the horizon. Captain Tucker received a transmission from Earth that sent a chill down his spine. Admiral Zhao's face appeared on the screen, his expression grave. Captain Tucker, in light of recent developments, the United Earth government is dispatching a military vessel to Novus Terram. They will arrive within the month to assess the situation and determine the future of the colony. I suggest you put your affairs in order. The transmission ended, leaving Tucker standing alone in his office, the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. He knew that the decisions he made in the coming weeks would shape the future not just of the colony, but of human-Acamarian relations for generations to come. With time running out and tensions at a breaking point, Tucker made a bold decision. He called together a group of trusted individuals from both the human and Acamarian communities, including Dr. Rodriguez, Commander Volkov, Pryler, and Dr. Zara. "I'm establishing an independent governing council," he announced to the assembled group. "We need to present a unified front when Earth's representatives arrive. Our future here depends on it." As the newly formed council began to grapple with the challenges facing them, Lieutenant Chen's shuttle touched down on the colony's landing pad. He burst into the council chamber, his face flushed with excitement. "Captain," he said, barely containing his enthusiasm, "the moon. It's perfect. With some terraforming, it could support Acamarian life. We could establish a joint colony there." The council members exchanged looks of surprise and hope. Could this be the compromise they needed to move forward? But before they could fully explore this new possibility, alarms blared throughout the colony. Security Chief Lena Rodriguez's voice came over the comm system, tight with urgency. "Captain Tucker, we have a situation. A group of extremists led by Jack Harper has breached the medical bay. They're attempting to kidnap Alex." The room erupted into chaos as everyone sprang into action. Captain Tucker's voice cut through the din, his words sharp and clear. "This ends now. We didn't come all this way, didn't build this colony, to let fear and prejudice tear us apart. Commander Volkov, deploy your militia. Dr. Rodriguez, secure the medical bay. The rest of you, with me. It's time we show both our people and Earth what we're really made of." As they rushed out of the room, the future of Novus Terram hung in the balance. The coming confrontation would test the strength of their alliance, the depth of their tenacity, and the true meaning of their mission on this alien world. And at the center of it all was Alex, a child of two worlds, whose very existence challenged everything they thought they knew about the boundaries between species and humanity itself. As the group raced through the corridors, alarms blaring around them, Captain Tucker's mind was already racing ahead to the next steps. The immediate crisis with Alex needed to be purposed, but he knew that was just the beginning. Earth's impending arrival loomed large, threatening everything they had built. "Commander Volkov," Tucker called out as they ran, "once we secure Alex, I need you to begin restructuring your militia. We need a joint human Acamarian defense corps, and we need it fast." Volkov nodded grimly, his previous reservations seemingly set aside in the face of this new threat. "Understood, Captain. I'll begin the integration immediately." They burst into the medical bay to find chaos. Jack Harper and his extremists had overturned equipment and were attempting to break into the secure room where Alex was being kept. Dr. Rodriguez stood defiantly in front of the door, a makeshift weapon in her hand. "Stand down, Harper," Tucker's voice boomed across the room. "This ends now." Harper turned, his eyes wild with fear and anger. "You don't understand, Captain. That thing, it's a threat to everything we are." "The only threat I see right now is you," Tucker replied, his voice steady. "We didn't come all this way to let fear destroy what we've built. Stand down, or we'll make you stand down." For a tense moment, it seemed Harper might resist. But as he looked around at the determined faces of Tucker's team and the newly arrived security forces, his shoulders slumped in defeat. As Harper and his followers were led away, Tucker turned to Dr. Rodriguez. "Elena, we need to move Alex to a more secure location. Start making preparations for a new facility, something we can keep hidden from prying eyes." Elena nodded, her face etched with concern. "I'll get on it right away, But Caleb, what about Earth? They'll be here soon, and they're not going to like what we've been doing. Tucker's expression hardened. Let me worry about Earth. You focus on keeping Alex safe and continuing your research. We're going to need every advantage we can get. Over the next few weeks, the colony was a flurry of activity. Commander Volkov, true to his word, began integrating Akamarians into his security forces. It was a tense process at first, with both sides eyeing each other warily, but as they trained together, a sense of camaraderie began to develop. In the labs, Sarah Mitchell and her team worked around the clock, refining their mineral compound. The breakthrough came on a quiet evening when most of the colony was asleep. "James," Sarah called out, her eyes wide with excitement. "Look at this." Lieutenant Chen hurried over, peering into the microscope. "Is that—" Sarah nodded, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. "A stable, synthesized version of the compound, and we can produce it on a large scale." The implications were enormous. This could be the solution to the Akamarian fertility crisis, without the need for genetic hybridization. When they presented their findings to Pryler and the Akamarian leadership, the aliens' antenna quivered with excitement. "This changes everything," Pryler said, her voice filled with awe. "If this works as you say, it could save our species." Meanwhile, Chief Engineer Marcus Reeves was busy expanding the atmospheric shield technology. He created a network of smaller shields to protect key areas of the colony, allowing humans greater freedom of movement outside the sealed habitats. As Marcus activated another shield generator, he watched with satisfaction as the harsh red glow of Novus Terram's atmosphere softened to a more Earth-like hue within the protected area. "We're one step closer to making this planet our home," he murmured to himself. All too soon, the day of Earth's arrival was upon them. Captain Tucker stood in the control room, watching as the massive government ship entered orbit. His face hardened as he prepared for the confrontation to come. "They're hailing us, Captain," the communications officer reported. Tucker took a deep breath. "Put them through." The stern face of Admiral Helena Zhao appeared on the screen. Her eyes were hard, her expression unreadable. "Captain Tucker," she said, her voice crisp and authoritative, "prepare for our immediate arrival. We will be conducting a full inspection of all facilities and research projects." Tucker nodded, keeping his expression neutral. "Of course, Admiral. We look forward to showing you the progress we've made here on Novus Terram." As the transmission ended, Tucker turned to his team. "Implement Information Protocol Alpha. They get the carefully curated data, nothing more, and make sure Alex is secure in the new facility." Dr. Rodriguez nodded, her face tight with concern. "What if they discover him, Caleb? What then?" Tucker's eyes hardened. "Then we stand our ground. We've come too far to back down now." As Admiral Zhao's shuttle descended towards the colony, Tucker steeled himself for the battle ahead. The future of Novus Terram hung in the balance, and he was determined to fight for the vision of cooperation and progress they had built. Whatever Earth had planned, they would face it together. Humans and Akamarians united in their commitment to their new home. As Admiral Zhao's shuttle touched down, Captain Tucker stood tall, flanked by his team of human and Akamarian allies. The tension in the air was palpable as the Admiral disembarked, her sharp eyes taking in every detail of the colony. "Captain Tucker," she said, her voice crisp, "I trust you're prepared for our inspection." Tucker nodded, his face a mask of professionalism. "Of course, Admiral. We have much to show you." Over the next few days, Admiral Zhao and her team combed through the colony's facilities, examining every aspect of their operations. Tucker and his team presented their carefully curated data, highlighting the progress they'd made in adapting to life on Novus Terram. On the third day of the inspection, an unexpected development changed everything. Dr. Elena Rodriguez burst into Tucker's office, her eyes wide with excitement. "Captain, we've detected an energy signature. It's unlike anything we've seen before." Tucker's brow furrowed. "Where?" "Deep within the planet's crust. It matches some of the readings we've gathered from Akamarian artifacts. This could be big, Caleb." Tucker knew immediately that this could be the key to securing their future on Novus Terram. He called an emergency meeting with Admiral Zhao and the colony's leadership. As they gathered in the conference room, Tucker laid out the situation. Admiral, we've detected what we believe to be an ancient Acamarian artifact deep within the planet. I propose a joint expedition to investigate. Zhao's eyes narrowed. And why should Earth be interested in alien artifacts, Captain? Because, Admiral, Tucker replied, this artifact could hold the key to technologies that could benefit not just this colony, but all of humanity. After hours of deliberation, Zhao agreed to lead the expedition alongside Tucker. A team was quickly assembled, including Dr. Rodriguez, Sarah Mitchell, Commander Volkov, and Acamarian representatives Pryler and Dr. Zara. As they prepared for the descent, Sarah approached Tucker, her voice low. Captain, I've been analyzing the mineral samples from the cavern walls. There's something unusual about them. They seem to be related to the compound we developed for the Acamarian fertility crisis. Tucker nodded, filing away this information. Good work, Sarah. Keep your eyes open down there. Every piece of data could be crucial. The expedition began their descent into the vast underground cavern system. The further they went, the more treacherous the terrain became. Unstable rocks caused minor cave-ins, forcing the team to rely on their combined skills to navigate safely. As they pushed deeper, the human members of the team began to struggle with the increasing heat and pressure. Dr. Zara stepped forward, offering a piece of Acamarian technology. This will help regulate your body temperature and protect you from the worst of the pressure, she explained, helping Dr. Rodriguez attach the device to her suit. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the cavern. Commander Volkov raised his hand, signaling the team to stop. We're not alone down here, he whispered. From the shadows, a creature emerged. A massive, blind predator adapted to the underground environment. Its eyeless head swiveled towards them, sensing their presence. Volkov sprang into action, coordinating the human and Acamarian members of the team. Pryler, Dr. Zara, use your sonic emitters to disorient it. Mitchell, Rodriguez, with me, we'll flank it. The battle was brief, but intense. Working together, the team managed to drive the creature back into the depths of the cavern. As they caught their breath, Admiral Zhao looked at Volkov with newfound respect. Impressive coordination, Commander. It seems your joint training programs have paid off. They pressed on, the cavern walls glittering with strange minerals. Sarah's eyes widened as she took readings. Captain, these mineral concentrations, they're off the charts, and they're directly related to the fertility compound we developed. Dr. Rodriguez's medical sensors began to beep insistently as they approached a massive chamber. I'm picking up anomalous energy readings, she reported. Captain, prolonged exposure to this energy might explain the Acamarians' fertility issues. They entered the chamber, and there it was, a colossal structure embedded in the cavern wall, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. Pryler stepped forward, her antennae quivering with excitement. She placed her hand on an ancient interface, and suddenly the chamber came alive with holographic displays. By the spirits, Pryler whispered, this is our history, the history of our people on Novus Terram. The team watched in awe as the holograms revealed the story of an ancient Acamarian civilization that once thrived on the planet. They had used advanced terraforming technology to make Novus Terram habitable, but something had gone wrong, forcing them to abandon their new home. Admiral Zhao, who had been skeptical throughout the expedition, now stared at the displays with undisguised wonder. The potential here, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. As they explored the artifact, Dr. Zara made a startling discovery. A hidden chamber, she called out. Inside, they found perfectly preserved genetic samples of ancient Acamarians. These samples, Dr. Zara breathed, they predate our fertility crisis. With these, we might be able to reverse the damage to our species. As they worked to secure the samples, the cavern began to shake. The artifact, awakened after millennia of dormancy, was powering up fully. Captain Tucker knew they had to act fast. We need to evacuate now, he shouted over the rumbling of falling rocks. Volkov, can we extract the artifact's core? The commander nodded grimly. It's risky, but we can try. As they raced to extract the core, Sarah made a startling observation. Captain, the energy signature, it's similar to the readings we've gotten from Alex. Tucker's mind reeled at the implications, but there was no time to process the information. They had to move. With Volkov leading the charge, they managed to secure the artifact's core and began their frantic ascent. The cavern collapsed behind them, the team barely staying ahead of the destruction. As they emerged from the underground, gasping and covered in dust, they found the colony in an uproar. The artifact's activation had triggered planet-wide changes. The very atmosphere of Novus Terram was shifting, becoming more hospitable to both humans and Acamarians. Captain Tucker and Admiral Zhao looked at each other, the shared experience of the expedition having forged a new understanding between them. "We need to talk about the future of this colony," Zhao said, her voice firm but not unkind. Tucker nodded. "A new framework, a true partnership between Earth, the colonists, and the Acamarians." As news of their discoveries spread, a wave of excitement swept through the colony. The possibility of solving the Acamarian fertility crisis and advancing both species' technologies created a newfound sense of unity and purpose. But even as they celebrated, a new threat loomed on the horizon. Long-range sensors began picking up signals of multiple unidentified ships entering the system, drawn by the surge of energy from the activated artifact. Captain Tucker looked out at the alien sky, now shimmering with the effects of the atmospheric changes. He knew that the greatest challenge to their fragile alliance was yet to come. With unknown forces approaching and the fate of two species hanging in the balance, the true test of Novus Terram was about to begin. The colony's long-range sensors lit up with multiple contacts, their energy signatures unlike anything they'd encountered before. Captain Tucker's comm device chirped urgently. "Captain, we've got incoming," Chief Engineer Marcus Reeves reported, his voice tense. "Multiple vessels approaching fast." Tucker exchanged a glance with Admiral Zhao. "Looks like our discovery has attracted some attention," he said grimly. Zhao nodded, her military training kicking in. "We need to prepare for all possibilities. How quickly can we get our defenses up?" Tucker turned to Reeves. "Marcus, I need you to adapt the atmospheric shield technology. See if you can create a planetary defense grid." "On it, Captain," Reeves replied, already moving towards his workstation. As Reeves set to work, Tucker contacted Commander Alexei Volkov. "Commander, mobilize our Joint Defense Corps. I want strategic positions established around all key locations." "Understood, sir," Volkov responded crisply. "I'll coordinate with our Acamarian allies." The colony burst into frenzied activity as humans and Acamarians worked side by side to prepare for the unknown threat. Engineers and technicians swarmed over the shield generators, while Volkov's teams moved into position, their weapons at the ready. Hours later, the first alien vessel entered orbit. Its massive form dwarfed even the largest Earth ships, its design unlike anything they'd ever seen. In the command center, Tucker, Zhao, and Pryler stood before the main view screen, watching the alien ship with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "We should attempt communication," Pryler suggested, her antennae quivering with nervous energy. Zhao nodded in agreement. "It's our best option. If they wanted to attack, they could have done so already." Tucker gave the order and the communications officer sent out a standard greeting on all frequencies. For several tense moments, there was no response. Then suddenly, the view screen crackled to life. But instead of the expected alien visage, they were confronted with a string of complex symbols and glyphs. Dr. Zara, who had joined them in the command center, leaned forward, her eyes wide with recognition. This is an ancient Acamarian dialect," she breathed. "I've seen similar writings in our oldest artifacts, but I've never been able to fully decipher them." As Dr. Zara struggled to translate the message, an unexpected commotion arose from the corridor outside. The door slid open, revealing Alex, the human Acamarian hybrid child, flanked by two startled security officers. "He just appeared, sir," one of the officers explained, clearly baffled. "Said he needed to be here." Before anyone could react, Alex strode purposefully towards the communications console. His small hands moved over the controls with surprising dexterity, and suddenly, the alien transmission tenacitied into clear, understandable speech. "Greetings, children of Novus Terram," A melodious voice echoed through the command center. "We are the progenitors, and we have awaited this day for millennia." The assembled leaders looked at each other in shock, then back at Alex, who stood calmly by the console, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "Alex," Tucker said softly, kneeling beside the child, "how did you do that?" The boy turned to Tucker, his expression serene yet somehow ancient. "I am the bridge, Captain, the key to understanding. It is why I was created." As the implications of Alex's words sank in, the progenitors continued their message. They explained their role as the seeders of life throughout the galaxy, including both humans and Acamarians. Novus Terram, they revealed, had been an experiment in coevolution, a project they were forced to abandon due to an impending cosmic threat. "The artifact you discovered," the progenitor voice explained, "was a failsafe. It was designed to activate only when both species achieved a level of cooperation and technological advancement that would allow them to face the challenges ahead." Dr. Rodriguez, who had joined them in the command center, gasped in realization. The breeding experiment, it wasn't just about proving human capabilities, it was about catalyzing the genetic recombination needed to unlock our full potential. Pryler's antenna twitched in agreement. "And Alex is the proof of its success, the first viable hybrid, bridging our two species." The progenitors confirmed their hypothesis, offering to share their vast knowledge and technology with the united human Acamarian colony. But their offer came with a warning. The cosmic threat that had forced them to abandon their experiment was returning, and they needed the combined strengths of humans and Acamarians to face it. Tucker, recognizing the monumental importance of this moment, turned to address the assembled leaders. "We stand at a crossroads," he began, his voice firm and clear. "What we decide here will shape not just the future of our colony, but potentially the fate of our entire galaxy." He paused, looking each of them in the eye. "I propose we form a new government, one that fully integrates humans and Acamarians as equal partners. United, we can face this threat and build a future greater than either of our species could achieve alone." Admiral Zhao, her earlier skepticism replaced by a sense of purpose, stepped forward. "I pledge Earth's full support for this alliance," she declared. "The challenges ahead are too great for old divisions to hold us back." As agreement rippled through the assembled leaders, Alex spoke up once more. "There's one more thing we must do," he said, his young voice carrying an authority beyond his years. "The artifact. It has a final gift for us." Led by Alex, the group made their way to the chamber housing the ancient device. There, in a gesture heavy with symbolism, the leaders of both species, Tucker, Zhao, Pryler, and Dr. Zara, joined hands with Alex at the center. The hybrid child reached out, touching the artifact. A pulse of energy radiated outward, sweeping across Novus Terram. As it passed, the harsh red sky softened, taking on a more Earth-like hue. The very atmosphere of the planet was changing, becoming perfectly suited for both humans and Acamarians. But the transformation didn't stop there. As they watched in awe, the barren landscape outside began to shift. Long dormant seeds awakened, pushing through the soil to create a lush alien forest. Novus Terram was coming alive, fulfilling its destiny as a true home for both species. In the days that followed, a ceremony was held to mark the official founding of the United Terran Acamarian Alliance. Captain Tucker stood before a diverse crowd of humans and Acamarians, holding Alex high as a symbol of their shared future. As cheers erupted from the assembled colonists, the progenitor ships took position around Novus Terram, a silent promise of guidance and protection for this fledgling civilization. As the ceremony concluded, Tucker found himself looking out over the transformed landscape of their new home. The challenge that had started it all, proving humanity's ability to breed on an alien world, seemed almost quaint now in light of the incredible journey it had sparked. Yet even as he marveled at how far they'd come, Tucker knew that their greatest challenges still lay ahead. The cosmic threat the progenitors had warned about loomed on the horizon, and their newly formed alliance would soon be put to the ultimate test.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.